Hi, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the books I got at Half Price Books. The first one is Lives of the Saints Illustrated, and it's published by Catholic Book Publishing Company. It's the new revised edition, and obviously this is a used copy. It gives the item number, so if you ever go on their website, I think it still might be this same number. And there is a second volume that I do plan on getting. Hopefully I'll be able to order the second volume of this in a couple weeks. But anyway, so we got this kind of artwork in it. Lives of the Saints for every day of the year, in accord with the norms and principles of the new Roman calendar. Revision of the original edition of Reverend Hugo Hoover, and he has a PhD. It's illustrated, and Catholic Book Publishing Company, New York. Let's go to the copyright page if we can. I'm doing this one-handed because I didn't feel like setting up the tripod tonight because if any of you have been watching my videos, last weekend I had to go to the emergency room and now I'm on a heart monitor and I've been feeling exhausted all day long. I don't want to have to... Oh. Wait, is there a copyright page? Hold on. Give me a minute. No, there's not. Okay. Instead, there's this at the bottom of the first page of the preface. So this gives the nihil obstat and imprimatur. And it says copyright 1989 to 1997 to 1955. Okay, they have that, the order of that going backwards. Okay. This looks to be a first printing. And then there's a note about this. The dates for the saints who do not form part of the general liturgical calendar are in the main based on the newly revised calendar drawn up by the National Liturgical Commission of France. The list of saints for each day of the year in accord with the new principles and was endorsed by... That looks like a French word. So I don't remember my French pronunciation, so I'm not going to try and pronounce this word here. The official publication of the Congregation for Divine Worship. And then it's got a table of contents of the saints. So you can look up a particular saint, or you can go and just follow the calendar. So like if you wanted to look up Bonaventure, Bonaventure is July 15th. So we're not going to go there. Instead, we're going to use today as the example. So I also bought this bookmark at Half Price Book for 50 cents. It's got nice artwork and it's got a quote from the Bible. Be strong, be brave, be fearless. You are never alone. Joshua 1:9. I don't know what translation that is, however. I'm guessing that it would be a modern translation, possibly the New Living Translation or the Message. I'll have to look and compare that to the copies I have. Anyway, let's look at today's date. Today is January 12th when I'm filming this. So, it gives you the name of the saint, what they were, today's date, which would also be the date that commemorates them, and then you get like a biography of them. That's usually a couple paragraphs. This one continues on the next page, and then after the biography of them, there is a prayer, and that's how the whole book is laid out. Let's see, I want to go back to the beginning of February and see if there's art at the beginning of each month. No, but there is artwork for various people. This is St. John Bosco, who was a priest, and his is January 31st. And then the biography of him, and you get this kind of art. I looked earlier at July 15th, and there was a illustration of St. Bonaventure, but let's just thumb through here and see what we get. Here's St. Mark the Evangelist. That would be the author of the Gospel of Mark. And he's an evangelist because, because he wrote the Gospel, but he was not an apostle. He was a disciple of St. Peter, according to the disciples of the apostles. I just don't remember who it was that said it. It might say it in here. It was also known that he was in Rome with St. Peter and with St. Paul. Tradition ascribes to him the founding of the church in Alexandria. St. Mark wrote the second gospel probably in Rome sometime before the year 60 AD. He wrote in Greek for the Gentile converts to Christianity. Tradition tells us that Mark was requested by the Romans to set down the teachings of St. Peter. This seems to be confirmed by the position which St. Peter has in the gospel, in the way the second gospel is a record of the life of Jesus as seen through the eyes of the Prince of the Apostles. So it does, at least in here, give his connection to St. Peter. So that's cool. I'll have to double check the stuff I said earlier, because I believe that was from a book called The Apostolic Fathers, which I need to do a video on. Here's some more of what the art looks like. But yeah, it's pretty much like that throughout the whole book. I want to just show you July 15th real quick, because I thought that artwork looked really cool. Let's see, June. There's St. Peter. St. Thomas. I want to find St. Bonaventure because the artwork for him looked really neat. I'm almost there. I'm on July 9th now. He was July 18th, if I remember right. Okay, July 12th. July 13, July 14. Here we go. There's St. Bonaventure. I think that is really cool art. I like how he's got the manuscript in his hand and the quill pen. I think that looks really cool. Sorry, but illustrations are something I just really like in books. And then there's like this cardstock here that you could probably put notes on. Like I said, I hope to get volume 2 of this in a couple weeks. I'll probably try and order it from the publisher. But when I saw this, I thought it was really cool. And it was a very reasonable price. It was $5.50. So that's not bad. All right. I already had the hardcover of this one. This is the Revised Standard Version Second Catholic Edition, and it's a Bible I really like, and I had the hardcover for years. It has a similar cover to this, but hardcover, and I really liked it. But then last year I saw a YouTube video of somebody reviewing this. I can't remember who it was who reviewed it. So I had to get this, especially when I saw the price, because this is like it's a lot more than that on Amazon for this. So when I saw this price, I had to get it. And it looks to be in really good condition. It has 2 red ribbon markers. The gold gilding looks to be very well intact. So the previous owner certainly took care of this Bible. So I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Anyone wearing headphones, I apologize. And then the end sheet is interesting. It feels almost like the texture of parchment paper. It's probably not, but they certainly gave it a texture. Anyway, here's the title page, and then the publisher's title page, and this gives you information on it, and it shows that the RSV is descended from the KJV, which then was revised in England as the English Revised Version, and then in 1901 as the American Standard Version. There was an Apocrypha done in 1894. Then compared with the most ancient authorities, and revised AD 1946. That's when the Revised Standard Version first came out, was 1946. Then it was revised in 1952, and then 1965. I think 1965 or 1966 is when the first Catholic edition came out. The Apocrypha was revised in 1957. I think that was originally available as a separate volume. And then 1966 is when the first Catholic edition came out, I believe. The original Catholic edition of the RSV translation was prepared by the Catholic Biblical Association of Great Britain. This edition was revised according to Liturgiam Authenticam 2001. Ignatius Press, San Francisco. I'm going to try and turn the page here. I'm doing this one-handed just because I didn't really have the energy to set up the tripod today because for those who don't know, last weekend I had to go to the emergency room because of my heart, and so I'm now on a heart monitor, and I was told both to take it easy and do my normal activities, since most of my normal activities don't involve a lot of energy. Anyway, here's the Nihil Obstat and Imprimatur. And then more copyright information. And here's who holds the copyright in the United States, the National Council of Churches of Christ. The Ignatius edition is copyright 2006. And then here's the ISBNs. This is the hardcover that I already have. Here's the ISBN for the paperback. And here's the ISBN for the leather one, which I hold right here. The Library of Congress number. And here's the cover art. The title for the cover art is The 40 Evangelists by Christopher J. Pelicano. Cover design by Roxanne May Loom. Maps are done by David Notley. And then this is printed in the United States of America. I do not see anything about whether or not this is a first edition or not, so I will have to ask people in Bible groups if they know how to tell. There's an introduction, and this is the introduction to the 1966 Revised Standard Version, Catholic edition, I believe. Sorry, I moved the camera a bit there. You get a table of contents, and this is also includes the abbreviations of every book. So, like, Tobit is TOB, Ecclesiastes is ECCLES, Sirach is SIR, Barak is BAR, and something like First Timothy is 2 Tim. Okay, let's get into, here's another table of contents where it's just the book names. And And in parentheses, it gives you like the other alternative names of them, I guess would be the way to say it. Because like Joshua is Jose. First Samuel is actually First Kings. Second Samuel is Second Kings. First Kings is actually Third Kings. Second Kings is Fourth Kings. And then you get the idea. And then like here, it gives the listing of the Apocrypha by itself. But in this Bible, the Deuterocanonical books are in their normal Catholic place in the Old Testament. This is just a way of showing you how this compares to how they have it in the Orthodox Bible. So it's just meant to be like a table to explain that. And then you get some more abbreviations here. And then we get the title page of the Old Testament. Just a really nice font. And you turn the page, and here we go. The first book of Moses, commonly called Genesis. There's no book introduction. It's a 2-column text. There are subject headers. These aren't drop caps, but I don't remember what they call it when you have the large number 1 for the chapter numbers. But yeah, 2-column text. And then you have textual footnotes down here. You have like alternate ways to translate things. But you also have these kind of notes here where it helps you to understand the text. Because here it's making a comment about Genesis 1:1 through 2:4. And it tells you how, it explains that passage, basically. It gives like a summary of it. And that's how the notes sections are. So for chapter 2, let's see. For chapter 2:4b through to the end of the chapter, this is the notes for that. And then throughout the chapter, you got these alternate translations, but then you also have cross-references. So this, in a way, is a cross-reference Bible. It's just putting all that down here in the lower right column, like you sometimes find in some of the English Standard Version Bibles, which I think is really neat. Then you're probably wondering what poetry section looks like. So like I said, I'm doing this one-handed. Here's the Book of Psalms. Here's how it's laid out. It's got that. I like this font that it has in here. I like that the subject headings are bold. Occasionally you'll see an asterisk in the Psalms by a chapter number, or psalm number, a psalm number. And then you just come to the notes, and it will tell you something about this. I'm trying to think of anything else in the Old Testament that might be important to point out. Maybe going to the prophets. Okay, let's go further into the prophets. Here we go. We're in Isaiah. So poetic sections are put in poetic form in the Old Testament. So it's not just the Psalms and wisdom books that have a poetic form. Even in other books of the Old Testament where scholars believe it's a poetic passage, it's rendered in poetry form in here. Somewhere in this Bible, I'm sure there's probably a footnote or something explaining it somewhere. But right now, off the top of my head, I'm not remembering where. I want to get to the New Testament. But I also want to flip through the Old Testament a little bit. Here we go. New Testament. Oh, yeah. I want to show what's before the New Testament. There's a table of contents for the New Testament. And there is a title page for the New Testament. Oh, the previous order looks like they highlighted something here that I didn't notice before. I didn't notice any markings in this before. Hold on. Pardon me a minute. It looks like the way they highlight stuff is to put yellow columns on the sides of the text. I like that. It doesn't interfere with my reading experience. Excellent. Okay. Back to what I was saying. The New Testament has its own title page where it gives you the information on the history of the New Testament. Then we have the table of contents of the New Testament. One thing I really like about this Bible is for the book of Revelation, it calls it Revelation of John, the Apocalypse, because the Apocalypse is actually the Greek title of that book. So I just thought it would be worth pointing that out in case anybody else is interested in that. It's little details like that in Bibles that I like. It's probably not interesting to very many people, but I find it interesting. Anyway, again, 2-column text, footnotes in the lower right corner. In this instance, we have a lot of different notes. We have translation notes, cross-references, and a note about the passage. Actually, it's like we have 2 notes about 2 different passages. We have a note about verse 36 of chapter 1, and we have a note about verse 25. And they're different types of notes. We know that because the symbols here, I don't know if you can see it here. Let me try and go closer. See this symbol that looks like a cross? That's indicating one kind of note, and I don't remember what the introduction says about that. It's been over 10 years since I read the introduction. And then there's this kind of note. I guess this is more of a theology note, whereas this is a textual note, because I just read this real quick, and this seems to be a theological note, because it's talking about Joseph's relationship to Joseph, or to Mary and Jesus. It seems like the New Testament has a lot of cross-references as you go through it. I'm going to go, here's chapter 5. This is where I usually go to find out whether or not a Bible is red letter or not. And in this case, it's not red letter, and they put each of the Beatitudes starting on its own line. Again, we have a lot of cross-references. One translation or textual note here. So, really cool Bible. Let's go to the end of the Bible. Oh, by the way, the New Testament starts its page numbering over from the Old Testament. Just in case anyone was wondering about that. These maps are going to make this a little hard. Okay, so we have the end of Revelation with all of its notes there. Then we come to these maps. Like this first map is a map of the Middle East in the time of Abraham. And we get to, I'm just not going to show every map. Israel in Canaan from the time of Joshua to Saul. So this is the layout of the land up until the time of King Saul. I want to go to the end of the maps a minute. Just finish up the maps. Back to this textured end paper, which is really interesting. The Holy Land in modern times. So if you have this Bible and you're watching the news and you're wondering where they're talking about, Well, this map, even though this map might be dated some, it's fairly accurate-ish. Because, like, it shows Gaza. I just don't see the West Bank on it. But I do see the modern names. Because Tel Aviv is labeled here. Oh, here's the West Bank. So, I just thought that'd be worth pointing out to anyone who is into current events. I'm not big on it because it affects my anxiety. And here's the churches of the New Testament. Paul's journeys. So you got all the typical maps. And then back to the back of the cover. I'm going to do reviews on these eventually sometime this year. Because the first review I plan on doing is the review of Mr. Big's album, Lean Into It. Which is an album that has had a positive effect on my life. So this bookmark is really cool, and it works great with this copy of Lives of the Saints, which does not have a built-in ribbon marker. So, and I like that this is illustrated, and this will fit nice on the little table I have in my living room, where I have another book of Saints, so I'd have 2 books of Saints to read when I sit in my living room. So that's cool. Sorry this video ended up being longer than I thought. I'm really exhausted. I'm hoping this will be ready to go on January 13th at 9 a.m. If it's not, it will be ready to go sometime during the day on the 13th. Sorry if any of my videos end up coming out late this week because I've been really feeling tired. So I'm going to try and make my videos as short as I possibly can. I had no idea this video was going to end up being 27 or 28 minutes long. I hope everybody's having a wonderful first of the new year 2024. Me, it's starting off on a rocky part because of my health. But by the grace of God, I am alive. I'm very thankful to Jesus for me being alive. Hopefully on Sunday I can go to Mass and be with people at church and, you know, have a wonderful weekend. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you to everybody that's been praying for me. Please keep praying for me because it's going to be a few weeks before I get any answers, which is not easy for me to deal with because I'm not very good at the virtue of patience. Trying to think of if there's anything else to say. I just want to thank everybody that watches my videos. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to help all of you find books and Bibles that will be helpful to you. But I'm also wanting to branch out into talking about, you know, music a little bit because music is something that has helped me to deal with life. Some of the bands I'm going to talk about are Christian bands, some are not. Because throughout my life, there have been various bands in my life that have helped me and with their music. And so I want to be able to share that side of me, be able to share the things that helped me, and maybe it'll help you too. And if not, you know, find what does help you. I find church, prayer, scripture, books like this are very helpful, but at the same time, music is very helpful. I've been listening to a lot of classical music lately, which I haven't done in, you know, over a decade. But I love classical music. I grew up with my grandma always having classical music on in her house. When I would go to my grandma and grandpa's house, there'd be classical music playing unless the Cubs were playing. If the Cubs were playing, me and my grandpa would be in the living room watching the Cubs. So Enough on that, and I don't want to bore anyone, so sorry the video ended up being long. I just hope everybody enjoys it, and I hope everybody watched to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos. It really helps. Soon I'm gonna have a Instagram page and a Facebook page for this YouTube channel soon. But I'm taking my time and taking it easy with my health, so I don't know how soon that will be. But as soon as I have that up and ready to go, I will make a YouTube video to let you know how to find it. There isn't one yet, and I will make it hopefully this week. Hopefully I'll make one of them this week and one the following week. So be on the lookout for me doing a video explaining that. Like I said, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all have a wonderful week. The next video, regular video will be on Wednesday. I'm hoping to do a couple short videos this weekend because that doesn't take a lot of energy from me. I've had a rough day today, and so making this video is the highlight of my day. I look forward to doing these videos. This has been fun doing this video. So I thank you to all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, wonderful week. God bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.